Hello everyone and welcome to my July wrap up. I have 12 books to talk about in this video, which I know is a lot. I've just been getting through books really fast recently, and if you add these to the books that I read for Booktubeathon, I've read a total of 17 books during the month of July, which is a crazy amount. I've never read that much in a single month before. I doubt I'll ever read that much in a single month again, but yeah, I'm just going to get right on into this wrap up. So of those 12 books, I gave one of them 3 stars, 8 of them 4 stars, and 3 of them 5 stars. So I'm going to start off with the book that I gave 3 stars to, and that is Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend by Alan Cumin, or Cumin, I'm not entirely sure how it's pronounced. This was just too weird and too surreal and too out there for me. I like really weird, surreal and out there books, but there just wasn't any explanation as to why he was a pterodactyl and why he was in this high school. Obviously the romance was really weird because it was between a girl and a pterodactyl, and there was just literally no explanation of what was going on, and I was just expected to go along with it, which, yeah, I really just didn't really appreciate. I wanted to get to the end and I wanted to finally have this big reveal as to what exactly was going on here, and unfortunately it just didn't happen. So yeah, the reason I gave it 3 stars and not less was because I did want to keep reading, because I wanted to get towards the end just to see if there was this big reveal, but apparently there wasn't, so yeah. Now on to the books that I gave 4 stars to. One of those was I'm Travelling Alone by Samuel Bjork. This is a Scandinavian crime thriller mystery story. Basically there are these little girls turning up brutally murdered, and they all have numbers etched into their fingernails, so obviously the investigators think that as these numbers pile up there will be more murders and that they are hunting a serial killer. And then one of the chief investigators' little granddaughter goes missing, so obviously he becomes more involved in this case on a deeper emotional level, and it was just really good, really fast paced, characters that you really root for. Obviously you really wanted this little girl to be found and saved and there to be this really lovely happy ending. I really like these kind of gruesome Scandinavian crime novels anyway, so if it sounds like your sort of thing, then yeah, I definitely recommend it. Also this month I gave 4 stars to The Upstairs Room by Kate Murray Brown. This is about a family who buy their dream Victorian townhouse in East London, and in order to afford to pay the mortgage they take on a lodger who is this 27-year-old girl who doesn't really know what she wants from life, love and her career or anything like that, but the husband in this family starts to get a little bit weirdly obsessed with her when they move into this house, and the wife is becoming preoccupied with this eerie atmosphere that she senses in the house, and it's actually making her quite ill, so she tries to spend as much time away from the house as she can. So we don't really know what's going on here, whether there's something supernatural going on or whether it's just kind of ghosts from the past, because there is the name Emily written hundreds of times all over the walls of this house. I did write a full review of this book on my blog, so I will leave a link to my review in the description down below so you can read all my deeper thoughts and feelings on it. I did really enjoy it, but I think I just wanted the supernatural element to be a little bit more prominent. I wanted it to be featured a little bit more, but if you do like your kind of mystery kind of stories, I would definitely recommend it. So yeah, maybe give my review a read if you are interested. Also this month I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I gave this 4 stars as well. I also wrote a full review of this on my blog, so I will leave a link to that review in the description down below. This is about a woman whose daughter goes missing, and then years later she falls in love with a man who has a 9-year-old daughter who looks exactly like her daughter that went missing. So obviously this dredges up lots and lots of things from the past, and it's very heartbreaking. I did not see the ending coming. Very dark themes explored in this, but there was a tragic but uplifting resolution at the end of it. So yeah, if it sounds like your sort of thing, very emotional family drama, then yeah, I definitely recommend it. Maybe give my review a read before you go into it too. Also this month I gave 4 stars to Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. This is about a woman living in Nigeria in the 1980s, and she and her husband are struggling to conceive a child, so her husband's family suggests that he takes a second wife in order to obviously strengthen his chances of having children. I learned a lot about Nigerian culture and Nigerian politics in this. It's very educational, very sad story about how sometimes love love isn't really enough in a marriage. Sometimes you have to have other things as well to culminate in happiness. It was very, very emotional. There's a lot of tragedy involved in it, but I did learn a lot about Nigerian culture, which I really, really appreciated, because I don't think I'd ever read a book like this before. This was a shortlist, I think. I think it was a member of the shortlist for the Bailey's Prize for Women's Fiction this year. So I would actually really love to read some more from that shortlist. So if you do like your literary fiction with some heartbreaking elements to it, then yes, I would thoroughly recommend Stay With Me. Also this month I gave 4 stars to Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series, the first one being Every Heart a Doorway. Even though this is the second book, it's technically a prequel to the first book. In this we learn the story of Jack and Jill, who are the twins that we meet in the first book, and this is basically the story of how they came to be at the Centre for Wayward Children. Both of these books are very whimsical, magical, dark little fairy tales. They're both less than 200 pages, I think, so if you do like your little quick magical fairy tale reads, I'd definitely recommend them. So yeah, really looking forward to continuing this series, because I think it's going to be a trilogy. So yeah, really enjoyed this too. Also this month I gave 4 stars to The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is obviously a very popular, well-hyped adult psychological thriller about a woman who takes the same train journey every day, and every day she sees this couple in their back garden and they seem to her like the perfect couple, so she basically fabricates a life for them in her head of what she imagines their life to be. And as the story goes on, as we get their perspectives of things, we actually learn that their life is totally different to how she's imagined their life to be. And it's just obviously so mysterious. You really don't know what's going on. If you enjoyed Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, I would definitely recommend this book, because it's that kind of psychological mystery going on in your head where you really don't know what's going on until the end, and you can keep guessing, but guarantee that that's probably not what actually happened. So yeah, if you like books that definitely play with you and books that you really don't know what's going on in them, then I definitely recommend The Girl on the Train. I haven't seen the film yet, but I'm really interested to see that now that I've read the book. So yeah, let me know if you have seen the film and whether it is worth seeing, because I enjoyed the book. Now onto the Harry Potter books that I read this month. I gave 4 stars to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Obviously this is book 5 in the Harry Potter series, and reading this in the political climate that our world is in right now just gave it that little extra dimension, I think. So obviously this book is all about unity over division in order to overthrow evil and stuff like that, and it was just really lovely, and it just gave it that little bit of extra edge to read it in our society. So yeah, obviously there is a major character death at the end of this book, which broke my heart once again. So yeah, 4 stars to Order of the Phoenix. Also this month I read Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is of course book 6 in the Harry Potter series. I gave this 4 stars too. This is the point in the series where our main characters are starting to become a little bit more interested in love and sex and things like that, so it is slightly more romantic than the books that come before it. But yeah, again there's another major character death at the end of this, which again broke my heart. And obviously at the end of this, Harry is ready to go on his journey. His life is about to take another direction, and he's ready to go and hunt Horcruxes and ultimately overthrow Voldemort. So yeah, 4 stars to Half-Blood Prince. Now onto the books that I gave 5 stars to. So one of those was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is of course book 7 and the final book in the Harry Potter series. Just to wrap it all up once again, it was just so lovely. I got all of the feels, obviously. Multiple character deaths in this, which I'm still just as angry about, Joe, so please, why did you do that? Please give us some more explanations. But yeah, it was just so lovely to read it again. It really, really was. And just to wrap it up, it's just really, really heartwarming. So yeah, 5 stars. Also this month I gave 5 stars to The Tales of Beedle the Bard, with additional notes by Professor Albus Dumbledore. This is the book of wizarding children's fairy tales that Hermione inherits in Dumbledore's will, and this is supposedly her translation from the original runes. Basically this is just 5 wizarding magical fairy tales, and they were just so delightful. They really, really were. They're all about basically how wizard and muggle relations should be very positive, and how we should celebrate muggle-borns and things like that. And yeah, they're just really, really lovely tales for magical children to grow up with. So yeah, really, really loved them, gave them 5 stars. And the last book I'm going to talk about was a book that I've been highly anticipating the release of, and I'm so happy to be able to give it 5 stars, and that is The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. I'm a massive Ruth Ware fan. She writes adult psychological mystery thrillers. I loved both of her 2 previous books, In a Dark Dark Wood and The Woman in Cabin 10, but I think this one was probably my favourite of hers. Basically, this is about 4 girls who were friends at school, and when they were at school they used to play this lying game, which basically they would tell lies and they'd score points on how big the lie was and how many people they managed to convince and stuff like that. And now that they've grown up and gone separate ways, they've all got jobs and husbands and babies and things like that, and then one day one of the women texts all of the others saying that she needs them, so they reconvene at the town where they all went to school together, where something very dark and dangerous has been dragged up from their past, and they have to basically deal with this and how basically they're going to cover it up and what exactly happened. It was so good. I really wanted to get to the end of it. I wanted to see who was really the guilty party in all this, because this is another one of those books where you don't really know what's going on until you get to the end, and I love thrillers that do that, and I would definitely recommend all of Ruth Ware's books to anyone that already really loves those kind of mysterious thriller mystery books, because it was just so good. It really was. I had no idea really what was going on till the end. So yeah, you can keep guessing and guessing and guessing and you still wouldn't know. So yeah, really enjoyed this. Definite 5 stars from me. And that is it for my July wrap up. What books did you read in July? Please let me know. I will leave all of my social media in the description down below. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll see you very soon for another video. Bye bye.